Viewers, have you ever imagined standing on the front line, facing an enemy with weapons you've never seen before? Picture this. You are part of a community nestled in the hills, living a life of harmony and tradition. Suddenly, invaders with powerful guns and rifles threaten your homeland and your way of life. If you had never seen or heard of guns or rifles before, but suddenly had to defend yourself against them, what would your strategy be? How would you fight back? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The story of the great Garo warrior, Togan Nengminza Sangma. Before listening to the story of Togan Nengminza Sangma, we must first know the year of the British annexation of the Garo Hills. Before 1863, the British had already established some control over parts of the Garo Hills. Their influence began in the 1837 S and gradually expanded, leading to the full annexation of the region in 1866. British control over Garo Hills. Before 1863. 1. Early British presence, 1822 to 1837. The British East India Company took control of Assam in 1826 after the Treaty of Yandabo, ending the First Anglo-Burmese War. The British attempted to stop Garo raids on the plains area of Golpara and Kamrup. In 1837, the British launched a military expedition against the Garos but failed to establish full control. 2. Increasing influence, 1850s to 1860s. The British made agreements with some Garo chiefs to reduce raids and allow limited British presence. In 1863, when the first Garo men, Omed and Ramke, converted to Christianity, the British were already exerting influence in Golpara and some parts of the Garo Hills. Now Assam and Meghalaya border, Christian missionaries were allowed to enter the Garo Hills with indirect British support. 3. Annexation of Garo Hills, 1866. The British formally declared the Garo Hills as a district under Assam in 1866, bringing it under the British administration. By 1863, when Christianity first took root among the Garos, the British were already controlling certain areas, but the region was not fully annexed until 1866. However, British authority remained weak in interior areas until they launched a major military campaign in 1872, leading to the final battle at Machu Rongkrek on December 12, 1872. Against Togan Nengminza Sangma and other Garo warriors. Now let's learn about the Headhunters, legendary Garo warriors. The Headhunter and legendary Garo warriors. The Garo warriors were known for their fierce warrior traditions, particularly the practice of headhunting, which was deeply rooted in their culture. This practice was not merely an act of violence, but carried profound spiritual, social, and symbolic significance. Taking the head of an enemy was considered a mark of bravery, honor, and warrior status, and it played a crucial role in Garo society for generations. Traditional beliefs and honor. In Garo tradition, a warrior who successfully took an enemy's head was seen as strong, courageous, and blessed by the spirits. The act was believed to bring prosperity, protection, and fertility to the village. Warriors who brought back more heads were admired and held in high regard, often gaining influence in tribal councils and leadership roles. Head hunting was also linked to spiritual beliefs. It was thought that the life force of the defeated enemy remained within the skull, and by keeping it, the warrior and their village absorbed strength and good fortune. Some rituals were performed after a successful head hunt to appease spirits and ensure continued blessings for the community. The warrior's trophy and respect. The practice of headhunting was carried out by the Garo warriors long before the arrival of the British and continued during British times. The warriors would descend from the hills into the plains, attack their enemies, behead them, and bring the severed heads back home. These heads were then displayed on the side of their houses, often hanging under the eaves as trophies of their bravery. The more heads a warrior collected, the greater their honor and respect within the community. They were treated with high status, and their deeds were celebrated in songs, chants, and traditional war dances. Those who had the most trophies gained influence, leadership roles, and deep admiration from their people. When the British encountered this practice, they were shocked and fearful of the Garo warriors. The sight of skulls hanging from houses, along with the warriors' fierce fighting skills and fearless nature, made the British view them as a formidable and terrifying force. The warrior spirit today. Although headhunting eventually faded with time, the warrior spirit of the Garo people remains alive in their folklore, dances, and traditions. The legacy of these legendary warriors is still honored in war dances, songs, and storytelling, preserving their history and valor for future generations. The story of Togan Nengminza Sangma, the fearless warrior of Garo Hills. Togan Nengminza Sangma was born to his mother, Janje N Sangma, in Samanda, near present-day Williamnagar, Meghalaya. Togan was one of the greatest warriors in Garo history, remembered for his fierce resistance against British colonial forces. While the exact date and time of his birth remain unknown, his bravery and sacrifice are forever etched in the memory of the Garo people. The Garo warrior who defied the British early life and the British threat, Togan Nengminza Sangma was a fearless warrior of the Achik Garo tribe, an indigenous community residing in present-day Meghalaya, India. Although little is recorded about his early life, he grew up in the hills, mastering traditional combat skills, hunting, and guerrilla warfare tactics passed down through generations. During the mid-19th century, the British Empire expanded its control over northeast India, seeking to impose their administration, collect taxes, and suppress local resistance. However, the fiercely independent Garo people viewed this as a direct threat to their sovereignty and way of life. By the 1867 to 1872, British incursions into the Garo Hills intensified. The Garos, known for their warrior traditions and deep connection to their land, refused to submit. In this time of crisis, Togan Nengminza Sangma emerged as a leader determined to defend his homeland. The British started to control the Garo Hills in 1837, 1850 and 1860, gradually expanding their influence. A clear witness to this growing control was the acceptance of Christianity by the first two Garos, Omid W. Momin and Ramkir W. Momin, in 1863 at Kamrup and Golpara, now along the Assam-Meghalaya border. This event marked the beginning of British missionary activities in the region, showing that British influence was taking root. However, despite their growing presence, the British could not fully control the Garo Hills until 1872. The Garos strongly resisted, with Togan Nengminza Sangma leading his warriors against British forces. The final and decisive battle occurred on December 12, 1872, at Macha Rongkrek, where he fought bravely but was ultimately killed. His death marked the final blow to organized Garo resistance, allowing the British to firmly establish their rule over the Garo Hills. Thus, the British struggled for 35 years, from 1837 to 1872, to fully occupy and control the Garo Hills. From 1837 to 1872, the British had already taken control of the plains of Golpara and Kamrup, including some Garo villages in these areas. However, the rest of the Garo villages in the hills remained free and independent. Despite British influence in the plains and Tura, the hill Garos fiercely resisted foreign rule, using guerrilla tactics and ambushes to defend their territory. The British struggled to dominate the entire region due to the difficult terrain and strong local resistance. Do you think the legendary Garo warriors, Togan N Sangma, Gowal Sangma and Gilsang Dal Bot, faced the British for the first and last time at Machu Rongkrek, Chisobibra in 1872? The answer is no. Long before that fateful battle, they had already confronted British forces multiple times. However, thanks to their mastery of guerrilla warfare, they remained elusive, striking swiftly before vanishing into the dense forests. The British struggled to track them down, making these warriors a formidable force. According to Garo oral traditions, the battle at Machu Rongkrek, Chisobibra was not their first encounter with the British. They had engaged in numerous skirmishes before, though records of these confrontations are scarce. Prior to 1872, Garo warriors relied on ambush tactics, using their deep knowledge of the terrain to outmaneuver the enemy. However, during these earlier clashes, some warriors were wounded by British bullets. This first-hand experience gave them critical insight into the devastating power of firearms. What they called Shandal Mango or Shandal Mekop, fire killers or fire flyers. This understanding shaped their strategies, preparing them for the ultimate showdown at Machu Rongkrek. These fearless warriors were not just fighters, they were tacticians, defenders of their land, and legends whose bravery still echoes in Garo history. The Garo resistance, guerrilla warfare, before the Battle of Macha Rongkrek, pre-1872. The forests and hills of Garo Hills were not just home, they were a battlefield, a fortress and a weapon. Every tree, every river, every shadow became part of the fight. The British, armed with guns, bayonets and cannons, marched forward, believing their firepower made them unstoppable. But the Garo warriors, Togan Nengminza Sangma, Sangma, Gilsang Dalbut, and their fighters, had fought the British before. They understood their weapons and their weaknesses, and they had a different kind of power, the jungle, the shadows, and their own unbreakable spirit. Once, the silent war, vanishing villages and false trails. Villages seemed abandoned, but they were watching. Footprints led to dead ends, paths disappeared, and anyone who wandered too far never returned. Eyes in the trees, warriors climbed high into thick branches, watching silently from above. Some used natural camouflage, blending into the leaves, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The enemy below never knew they were being watched. Whispers and fear. The British heard them but never saw them. At night, soft whispers, distant drumming and rustling in the darkness kept them awake. It was a war of the mind. 2. The poisoned strike. The Garos knew that traditional weapons like the mill-lam and sepi were not enough against guns, so they turned to another weapon, poison. Poisoned arrows and spears. Warriors coated their arrows and spears with deadly plant extracts, ensuring that even the smallest wound would weaken or kill their enemy. A single strike was enough. Stealth kills from above. Hidden in trees, warriors dropped onto unsuspecting soldiers, using poisoned daggers to take them down silently. Before anyone realized what had happened, the attacker had already disappeared into the branches above. 3. The Valley of Death. The final ambush was set in a narrow valley, a place where the enemy had nowhere to run. The false retreat. A small group of warriors pretended to flee. The British followed, thinking they had finally won, but as they entered the valley, they were walking into a trap. Nature strikes back. Hidden warriors released logs, boulders, and arrows from the cliffs. A hidden dam was broken, sending a sudden flood of water crashing down, soaking gunpowder and making rifles useless. The final blow. Warriors descended from the trees, striking from above, while others emerged from the shadows. Poisoned arrows flew, spears found their targets, swords finished the rest. The jungle had swallowed the invaders. Though the British would return with greater numbers, the message was clear: Garo land would not fall easily. The warriors had fought not just with their weapons, but with their intelligence, their environment, and their unbreakable spirit. The battle may have been one of many, but the resistance became a legend. The Garo resistance and their tactics. Togan Nengminza Sangma gathered a band of warriors and waged guerrilla warfare against the British. They used the rugged terrain to their advantage, employing strategies such as ambushes and hit-and-run attacks. The warriors launched surprise attacks from the forests and quickly retreated before the British could counterattack. Misdirection and deception. They created false trails, luring British troops into difficult terrain where they could be easily overwhelmed. Traps and psychological warfare. The warriors set traps, used decoys, and launched sudden raids to instill fear in British soldiers. They placed large stones on hilltops and valley slopes. At an unaware time, as British soldiers marched below, the warriors pushed the stones, causing them to tumble down. The stones crushed the soldiers, broke their formations, incited panic, and halted their advance. The discovery of the fire flyers, British guns. Before the Battle of Macha Rongkrek, Togan Nengminza Sangma and his warriors encountered British troops in smaller skirmishes. They quickly realized the devastating power of British firearms, which they called fire flyers or killer guns due to their deadly impact. Realizing the challenge, Togan Nengminza Sangma, Sangma, Gilsang Dalbut, and other Garo warriors devised a guerrilla warfare strategy to resist the British. aware that their traditional weapons, swords, shields, bows and arrows, were no match for British firearms. They had already been engaging in secret guerrilla tactics long before. By 1867, the British had begun expanding their control over the Garo hills. However, by 1872, several villages still remained free and independent. Determined to seize full control, the British launched a massive military campaign, sending 3 groups of infantry, each consisting of 500 soldiers. One group was led by Captain W.J. Williamson, while another, under Captain Daly, advanced toward Rongrengre, where they planned to converge after their campaign. The free Garo villages quickly realized that the British were coming to take their land. Unlike the Garos, who fought with traditional weapons such as Millam Sepi, shield, Cree arrows, and Danil shield, the British had firearms, rifles that could kill from a distance. Knowing that a direct battle would be disastrous, the Garo warriors gathered for a crucial war council. The Garo leaders, including Togan Nengminza Sangma, deliberated on how to defend their homeland. They knew they had to employ guerrilla tactics, using the dense forests and rugged terrain to their advantage. Despite the overwhelming odds, the Garos resolved to fight for their freedom, their land, and their way of life. The British invasion marked a pivotal moment in the history of the Garo Hills. It was a clash not just of armies, but of civilizations, with the Garos fighting to preserve their independence and cultural heritage against a technologically superior foe. The Battle of Macha Ronkrek, December 12, 1872. On December 10, 1872, British forces reached Rongrengre near the Simsang River at Macha Ronkrek Doba Abitek and set up camp. Their presence was discovered by 3 Garo women fishing in Chiso Chiring, a river stream. Alarmed, they ran back to warn the village, and the Garo warriors, led by Togan Nengminza Sangma, immediately convened a meeting. The warriors knew the British rifles, which they called Shandal Mangut or Shandal Mikop, fire-breathing weapons. In the heart of the dense jungle, beneath the towering canopies that whispered with the wind, the Garo warriors sat in silence, their breaths steady, their minds sharp. Their eyes, fierce and unyielding, were fixed on their leader, Togan Nengminza Sangma. The distant echoes of marching boots and rustling leaves signalled the enemy's approach, but no fear stirred among them. The British guns, their bullets, Shandal Mangot, Shandal Mekop, were deadly from afar. The enemy relied on their firepower, believing it made them invincible. But here, in the depths of the forest, the rules of war were different. During the discussion, not only were Togan Nengminza Sangma, Gowal Sangma, and Gil Sang Dalbot present, but many other Garo warriors were there as well. They sat in the courtyard, contemplating how to fight against the British guns and bullets. A heavy silence filled the air as they struggled to devise a strategy to counter the enemy's firepower. Suddenly, Togan Nengminza Sangma stood up and walked to the backyard. Without a word, he picked up his mil lam, traditional sword, and swiftly cut down a banana tree. Carrying the thick trunk back to the courtyard, he placed it before the gathered warriors. "Look at this," he declared. "The bullets of the British will be stopped by this banana tree. We will use these as our shields in battle." The warriors observed the soft, water-filled trunk, realizing its potential to absorb bullets. Murmurs of agreement spread through the group, quickly turning into a determined resolve. Inspired by Togan Nengminza Sangma's idea, they accepted his strategy wholeheartedly. Armed with newfound confidence, they prepared for battle, ready to challenge the British with their banana tree shields. A ripple of understanding passed through the warriors, Gowal Sangma, Gilsang Dalbot, and the others. Their leader's strategy was clear, and they embraced it without hesitation. Each warrior moved swiftly, their hands cutting through the jungle with practiced ease. They lifted the banana trees onto their backs, their bodies unyielding under the weight. They did not stagger, they did not falter. The strength of the Garo people was not measured in mere muscle, but in endurance, in resilience, in the unshakable will to fight for their land. The British would see their guns fail against shields born of the earth itself, and when the moment came, the Garos would strike not as hunted men, but as warriors of the wild. The banana tree strategy, Togan Nengminza Sangma emerged as a key strategist, proposing a bold idea, using banana tree trunks as shields. The warriors believed that the thick water-filled trunks could absorb bullets better than wooden shields, giving them a fighting chance. This unconventional tactic became their best hope against the British guns. The Battle of Macha Rongkrek, December 12, 1872. On December 12, 1872, the British launched a major offensive into the Garo Hills, determined to crush the resistance. Togan Nengminza Sangma and his warriors made their final stand at Macha Rongkrek, a forested region that provided them with some natural advantages. The Garo warriors, armed with spears, swords, banana tree, shields, and poisoned arrows, faced a heavily armed British force equipped with muskets and cannons. Despite being outgunned, they bravely charged at the British soldiers, using banana tree as their shields. However, the strategy failed. The bullets, though slowed, still penetrated the soft plant material. The British, aware of Garo tactics, had prepared countermeasures, using their superior firepower to decimate the resistance. Despite these setbacks, Togan Nengminza Sangma fought fearlessly, leading his warriors from the front. On December 12, 1872, Togan Nengminza Sangma and his warriors launched their attack, fighting with unmatched bravery. Though outnumbered and outgunned, they struck fear into the British ranks. Unfortunately, the rifles proved too powerful. He charged directly at the British lines, hoping to break their formation. However, in the heat of battle, he was shot and killed, and many warriors wounded, marking the tragic end of the Garo resistance at Macha Rongkrek. And Togan fell in battle and others injured. His sacrifice, however, became a symbol of resistance and heroism for generations to come. The aftermath. British control over Garo Hills. Before Togan Nengminza Sangma's death, the British had struggled to establish full control over the Garo Hills. His guerrilla warfare tactics had disrupted their efforts for years. However, after his martyrdom, the British forces gained the upper hand. With their strongest leader gone, Garo resistance weakened significantly. The British launched a full-scale campaign to eliminate any remaining opposition. They sent larger armies into the Garo Hills, crushing smaller resistance groups. They destroyed villages and settlements, forcing many Garos to surrender. They established military posts and administrative centers, ensuring permanent British control. They imposed colonial laws and taxation, making the Garos subjects of the British administration. Within a year of Togan Nengminza Sangma's death, by 1872 to 1873, the British had fully occupied the Garo Hills. What they had struggled to achieve for years became possible only after his death. Legacy: a hero remembered. Although the British ultimately conquered the Garo Hills, Togan Nengminza Sangma's bravery and sacrifice became a lasting symbol of resistance and patriotism. His courage inspired future generations, reminding the Garos of their warrior spirit and the importance of defending their land and culture. Today he is honored as one of the greatest heroes in Garo history. The Garo people commemorate his legacy through December 12th as Togan Nengminza Sangma Martyrdom Day, a day of remembrance. Statues and memorials dedicated to his heroism, folk songs and oral traditions that keep his story alive. Although the Garos lost their independence, the memory of Togan Nengminza Sangma and his warriors remains unbroken. Their courage, sacrifice, and determination continue to inspire, serving as a testament to the unyielding spirit of the Garo people. A legacy of courage. Togan Nengminza Sangma's story is not just about war, but about the unyielding spirit of the Garos in the face of foreign domination. His name continues to inspire people, reminding them of the price of freedom and the bravery of those who fought for their homeland. A warrior of legendary strength, Togan Nengminza Sangma was a towering and immensely strong warrior, often compared to Goliath, from biblical stories. His physical power was legendary, and many oral traditions highlight his extraordinary feats. One such story, still told among the Garo people today, speaks of his legendary strength. It is said that during a confrontation with the British, he picked up a massive stone and hurled it in anger at them. This stone, which remains in place to this day, serves as a lasting testament to his might. The very stone he threw still rests near his museum at Chisobibra by the Simsang riverside. It is said to be so heavy that even 6 or 7 people today cannot lift or move it, further proving his immense power. The bravery and resilience of the Garo warriors during this period remain a source of inspiration and pride for the Garo people to this day. The heroism of Togan Nengminza Sangma and his fellow warriors continues to resonate in the Garo hills and beyond. Their fight against the British invaders is not just a tale of resistance, but a testament to the indomitable spirit of the Garo people. Togan's bravery and strategic acumen have become legendary, inspiring future generations to stand up for their rights and heritage. Even today, the Garo hills are a place where history breathes through the lush forests and rugged landscapes. The stories of valor and sacrifice are passed down through generations, shaping the cultural identity and collective memory of the Garo community. Monuments and memorials dedicated to Togan N Sangma, or the Garo warriors, serve as constant reminders of their struggle and triumph. As we reflect on this rich history, it is essential to recognize how the past continues to influence the present. The legacy of Togan Nengminza Sangma is a beacon of courage and resilience, reminding us that the fight for justice and freedom is never in vain. In Meghalaya, December 12th is observed as a state holiday in honor of Togan Nengminza Sangma, a great Garo warrior who sacrificed his life while resisting British forces. This day commemorates his bravery and leadership in the Battle of Macha Rongkrek, 1872, where he led Garo warriors against the British using guerrilla warfare tactics. Though outnumbered and outgunned, Togan Nengminza Sangma and his warriors fought valiantly to protect their land. His sacrifice is remembered as a symbol of Garo resistance and Meghalaya's rich history of struggle against colonial rule. Today, the Togan Nengminza Sangma Museum stands as a testament to his legacy. Located near Chisobibra, close to the Rongrengre Simsang River and the Samanda Williamnagar Road, this museum offers a captivating journey through history. Visitors can explore a rich collection of artifacts, including traditional weapons, personal belongings, and detailed exhibits that narrate the life and times of this legendary warrior. The museum not only preserves the memory of Togan Nengminza Sangma, but also provides an immersive experience into the cultural heritage of the Garo people. So next time, be ready to pay homage to the ancient freedom fighter, the great warrior. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Also, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Until then, take care and goodbye.